Deanne.
Hi, Deanne. You are the only educator that has joined so far, so thank you.
I almost missed it too, so.
No worries. But we are going to record this, and I know that you know myself, and I know you know Margie. We're also joined with Sam, Reed, and Janine. Janine is a brand new CSM who's taking over, I would say, like Mountain West, so like Utah, that area. But thank you for joining us, and I'm gonna just get started and kind of show you what we've added. I'm sure Margie has already shown you. I know that you're active on the platform, so you've probably already seen this, but some just quick reminders. And we're also going to record this for any teachers that might be watching this. So welcome to the Back to School with Skillstruck. What we're going to cover are some educator portal questions, some new included releases, and then also if you have any questions on here, feel free. But if you are watching this virtually, feel free to email your customer success manager or your area partnership representative, but you can also contact our support team. I'm going to be leading this, but I also have Margie here who is going to handle the chat. Happily that Sam and Janine are also here that they can answer any questions in the chat that you might have as well. Some big things that come up every single year at the start of the semester is archiving old sections or finding those sections that you've archived. You can always find a section that you've archived by setting the end date to it, as well as archiving it with this little button down here. If you need to find an archive section, you can always log into your account and see view past sections and find any section that you might have archived. If you do decide to set an end date to your section, we recommend setting it about 2 weeks after the section is actually completed so that you can always come back in and pull any pull any data that you might need to share with your district or with the students. If you need to create or check a new section on the manage sections portion, you'll just hit the new section button and go through the different steps there. You can also see the pencil within the section line. That's where you're going to go to edit any section you've created. Now, just a reminder to assign curriculum. The first step is always going to the manage curriculum button and then finding your section, selecting the section that you're going to edit. Then you're going to unlock certain curriculum that you want to teach to the students. You can either do it by chapter, by unit, or by individual lessons. And then you'll decide any required activities that need to be done, such as challenges, puzzles, games, or also decide how many attempts you want for them to do the quiz. After, you always save all changes or save changes to multiple sections. So a lot of people want to know what's new. We've done a lot of work over the summer. We've also done a lot of work through August to add new things. I'm sure you are always getting those product update emails. We try to send those out, or you can check it out on the platform itself. But we have a new Launchpad view, which some teachers were introduced to this last year. We've streamlined the view to all be on one side of the page where they have easy access to the textbook, presentations, quizzes, games, and challenges. We've also changed the name from Flight Training to Blocks, which can be found on different ways within the early elementary lessons, such as kindergarten through second grade. Within those scenes, there are some challenges that your students can do that are using the flight training that we now call blocks, where they'll drag and drop different puzzle pieces to get different sprites to move across the screen. And it can also be found in the playground section where it says Blocks Playground. Something brand new and not to be confused that we have is a new feature called Blocks Pro. This is very similar to Scratch, but what is different is there's some curriculum involved. It really needs some different standards that you might want to do, but it's all on the Skillstruck platform, and it's a safe space where not anybody outside of your district or outside the student can get in to see what the students have built. We have pre-made lesson plans within lesson plan section called Blocks Pro that you can check out. And then there's about 10 different lessons on the platform that utilize these different puzzle pieces to help your characters use, students use sprites to complete these different challenges. And they'll learn what every single puzzle piece needs to do. This is marketed towards 3rd through 5th grade, but we do have schools that are already implementing it into 6th grade on the flight training platform. So we're very excited about it. There's also a Blocks Pro playground that your students can always utilize as well. Now, we also introduced a robotics platform. Some of you might be familiar with it from the end of last semester, but it should be live on all your accounts now. We are utilizing Microbit, which is a small robot that your schools can individually purchase, but we do also have a virtual robot that your students can utilize on the screen, where they'll be able to drag and drop the code in either what we already have for block-based, but we also have Python code that they can utilize, or JavaScript code that they can utilize as well. We've also improved the student progress view. So when you go to student progress, it's going to have a different type of screen where your students can, where you can find what your students have completed, how they've completed it, and what section they've completed it in. You'll also be able to see those quiz attempts and what they've done on the quizzes. Also, for the secondary, we've added some interactive textbook presentations where your students will do these presentations, play different games within them. We use Articulate. They're very similar to like a slideshow, but a slideshow that forces the students to do each individual portion of the slide. Also, your students will have a different quiz view where you can decide how many times they take a quiz, and then they also will have to go back to read the hints that we provide rather than being able to correct their mistakes then and there. If you ever want more information about what we've added or done on the platform, we recommend just checking out the releases and announcements and community. And then the last thing I want to make sure that you are aware of, if you're watching the recording, I'm sure, Dan, you've heard from Margie about the AP-SCSP course, but we do offer an AP Computer Science Principles course, which is an in-depth course to understand a variety of computer science topics and programming principles at a college level instruction. This course is endorsed by the College Board. If you, or if you're watching this, want to bring it to your school, feel free to reach out to your customer success manager or your area partnership representative so that we can get you put on with the platform. Thank you. Now, I'm sure you might have some questions. You might have already asked Margie these questions, but do you happen to have any questions?
How did you know I asked Margie questions? I only sent them to her.
I can see a giggle on Margie's face from a mile away. So
Yeah, no, I was just asking what was included, if anything, any of those things were extra that you talked about, because I don't remember hearing about the Blocks Pro, but I've got a lot going on in the beginning of the year. So she told me that is, so that's great, because that might be middle school stuff that we'll start with and go from there. And then I do remember the robotics, but I just didn't remember if it was a part of it too. So I'm glad that was brought up, because I just can't keep track of it all.
no. As someone who works for the company, I also cannot keep track of it all. So that is perfectly fine. But no, we're excited for Blocks Pro. You probably didn't hear about it because it just came out last Thursday. It's fully live last Thursday too. So I think we've only been able to highlight it to a couple schools that have been implemented, but we'll have like a more formal release probably in the coming weeks about it. Yeah.
And Deanne is actually at Lakeshore. Well, Mike at Lakeshore is going to be teaching AP-CSP using our curriculum. So we are psyched to have them be using that this year. They actually met with Amy last week and it had like a whole great chat. So it was wonderful.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're excited for the course.
Well, I'm always excited to talk to Deanne. Come on.
Yeah, I'm kind of fun sometimes. I've been called the fun one.
Well, once or twice. Okay, by me all the time. Okay.
So Margie does call you, yeah.
Yeah, so no, that's it. That's great. I'm excited to go check out those things so I can, because I still have some licenses to figure out where I'm putting them. So
And if you log into Launchpad and you change grade, you'll be able to go to Blocks Pro, and then just if you work through the lessons, you learn what all the items do.
awesome.
So that's great.